Smell. I don't know if I played this one yet. So we'll be playing it right now. Play message, please.
Okay, this is Rich the third time, and I'm going to make it short. Okay, I promise. All right, but
did I do this one, Dora? Did we do this one yet?
I don't believe we did.
Okay, here we go.
This is an important question, and Dora, I would like your opinion of it, okay? I'm sitting at Barley's Brew Club, like I painted before, with these 4 people that I met at OLF. And we were talking about the 4 freedoms, and I put forth that the only way to contribute to open software was not just to work on the code, and the people that did not have programming skills could still contribute to open source through documenting, through testing, and through actions that were revolved around open source that weren't directly coding. And a person, like I said, who I met the first time in real life but knew from podcasting before, a person whose opinion I value, and that's why it hit me so hard, turned to me and kind of matter-of-factly said, no, the 4 freedoms only cover programming. It's only the code that is covered in the 4 freedoms. So now I feel like I am stealing from open source because I don't have the ability to contribute to the code. And if I don't pay somebody for writing the code, I'm stealing it. And that's the honest opinion that I have at this point. And I'm being honest with myself because I've been saying for years that I'm going to learn a new modern programming language. And I've decided pretty much that's going to be Python because that's the one that has the most breadth of resources as well as capabilities. And I'm being realistic because I'm old enough that I've only got about, 1 more language that I can learn, really realistically, okay? And if I do that, I guess I can contribute to that open states project you talked about and some other Python kinds of things. But how do I justify the fact that I can't look at the code and I can't modify the code? And how can I contribute to the code? So I'd like your opinion on that, Dora. And I'd like the opinion of the other listeners of whether they think that's how the 4 freedoms work. Because this has become such a fundamental thing that has hit me to the core that I've seriously given consideration to just giving up on the whole idea of the 4 freedoms because I'm never going to be able to code, and therefore I cannot contribute. So I'd be interested in your opinion on that. And like I said, you guys rock, great show notes, and I love the shows. And Dora, I still owe you that beer. Bye now.
Well, thanks to Paul for the show notes. Thank you for the voicemail. Really interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, he's often on Hacker Public Radio, Mr. Gadgets. Brings up very good topics and talks about it, in my opinion, very good.
Sure.
My only response to that, I really wish I was standing there. Oh, I would have just turned to him and said, "You are full of crap."
To the guy who said that program, the code is the only thing.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about. No concept clue of what reality actually is. And I don't care if that was Richard Stallman. I would have told him he's full of crap. The 4 freedoms have to do with ideals about computer usage and how applications are made. It stems from how computers are made. It does not stop with how computer and applications are made. It's a philosophy of usage, not just stringently behind these bars of creating an application.
I see. Well, that answers it.
That's just my personal opinion. And here's the whole thing. If I make something and I say I made this, that does not mean that's where it ends. It's how someone else takes it and uses it that defines what this actually is.
Huh. What is it? What is that thing?
This is a stupid chip from a bar.
Okay.
I can go and get a free beer. But so even if they were written with the intent of only being for a program, that does not mean that's where they stop.
Huh.
They stop where we as a society and a culture let them stop. I feel like the 4 freedoms need to go further into our society, and that's just me.
Huh.
Because I want to be able to go to a restaurant and know how they made that cake. Sorry, I'll stop with that because I started talking about cake.
I know. Well, you talk, 4 freedoms always leads to cake.
Yes.
So hopefully, I I don't know who sent that. Who sent us the voicemail?
I know him as Mr. Gadgets. His name is Bill. On Google Plus.
Bill, so don't feel like you're stealing now. I mean,
no, absolutely not, because you can contribute in a billion ways. Going on HPR and talking about it, that is just as valuable in some cases as taking code back and giving it back to them.
Right. I mean, we all have our skills we can contribute.
Right, and documentation. If you document something for somebody, trust me, that coder is going to be utterly thankful because coders can't document.
And podcasters can't do show notes. So I thank Paul for that.
Yep.
Okay. Next email's from James. He sent us a message. He says, I will go 3 to 4 years with a distro. It just works. Corral Linux works from 1999 to 2004. Meepus 3.3.1 running on a box. In the back bedroom and Puppy on the laptop. How can I help someone if all I do is install and forget? Is the question.
I understand what he's saying. And yes, he's one of those guys that literally almost forgets how to install the OS because it's been so long.
Right.
With that said, he can help with day-to-day things. Like, how is he efficient in doing task A? How does he get task B done? I mean, those are all things that could be shared to a greater good kind of thing, because I might look at you and say, well, hey, he did this like that. I do it like this. Well, what if I combine them? You know what I mean? And then I can have this new track, this new workflow of getting things done that I learned from James.
I agree. I definitely agree. So there's your answer, James. You can help. We can all help.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Last one is from Les. He says, and we do have more. I'm just going to save them for next week. Hey, guys.
Yeah. Huh? I really hate interrupting, but I didn't realize what I just gave was a perfect example of the 4 freedoms in ideas. Ideas. Because if he gives me an idea, I then have the ability to modify that idea and redistribute that idea. Kind of thing. Okay, I digress. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. Thanks, Dor. Leslie says, hey, guys, I just left a voicemail with my name. Sorry about that. I have no problem giving praise where praise is due. For your information on Podnutz, I keep getting errors with my indicator panel on startup, and the OS asks me if I want to delete it. I do not think it's a problem with Podnutz itself, as it happens with my Mint 11 install as well. How do I fix this issue? I know that I can log out and back into the panel to get the panel back, but that's a nuisance. We'll give more on Podnutz in another email. Also, what is Dor's email? Is it dorgeek@podnutz.com? And he gives us a couple others. No, it's Dor, T-O, not number 2. Dorgeek@gmail.com or dorgeek@podnutz.com. It's up to you guys. He says, next, I really want to try out Mint 12, but after installing it on my HP ProBook 4350, my Wi-Fi goes extremely slow. Pinging Google time equals 6450.1 milliseconds response time with up to 70%. Oh, pinging Google, the time is that, with up to 70% packet loss. How can I fix this issue without disabling IPv6? Lastly, for now, with my Mint 11 install, with almost every game I install, the game will either not play, the graphics are blocky, or the game runs as if I have about 3-second lag. I think this might be a video driver issue, but I don't know how to check or solve it. Sorry for all the questions. I have a tendency to have them all pile up until I find time to sit down and write. Thank you again for the great podcast. Les. Okay.
Well, thank you for reading this on the show, because I did not realize I did not reply an email to any of these questions. So I will do that after the show, but for now,
I think he sent me sorry, Dora, I hate to interrupt too. He sent a addendum to one of the questions. He says, after reading my email, I wanted to clarify on one of my questions. As far as the Mint applet panel error, I also know that I can right-click in the bottom bar and add the panel that keeps disappearing. My question really is, how do I resolve the issue so I do not get those errors in the first place?
Well, on the Podnutz, it's because of system architecture.
Okay.
I compiled it in a VM, and it was a AMD emulated processor. Then when you install it on an Intel, it's a different processor. All you have to do is simply right-click, delete the processor indicator, and then right-click again, add to panel, system monitor, and then you'll have it back again with the correct settings.
Damn.
That one's easy.
Nice.
Okay, next one. Mint 12 installing HP ProBook. My Wi-Fi goes extremely slow, pinging Google, bad time, 70% packet loss. That is insane.
Yeah.
Okay. And how can I fix the issue without disabling IPv6? Easy answer. Disable IPv6. And here's why. There's still, to this very day, there is not a router sold that supports IPv6. There is no reason for anyone in their home network to have IPv6 enabled. If you do have a reason, then this won't happen because you have correct IPv6 set up.
Huh.
The reason it isn't working right is because your router doesn't support IPv6 and your computer is constantly trying to negotiate to do IPv6.
I see.
Disable it, disable it, disable it. You don't need it.
Okay.
You know, the last thing, it could be a video driver issue, or it could be the fact that your desktop environment is bloated and heavy. Roll back to the first thing we talked about was the Cinnamon desktop.
Yeah.
Try to load the Cinnamon desktop. Try to load Mate. Try to load Awesome, OpenBox, Fluxbox, something else that is lighter. That alone, you can see a big difference. And my example is Eric Sauce. And a little sauce makes everything better. Eric Sauce.
Yes.
He was running Skyrim and Wine on Linux Mint. After he installed a different desktop environment and then reloaded Skyrim, he said, I was nearly, not quite, but he said, I was nearly blown away at the increase in performance just from loading a different desktop. So
wow.
That's definitely worth the attempt. If you're in a modern distro like Mint or anything, it will tell you if there's better, quote unquote, better hardware drivers to use for your card. You've probably already followed that. So it's either one of two things. Desktop environment. He doesn't mention any games, so I hope they're not Flash-based games, because then it could be Flash.
Okay.
Except for that, I say load